This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with a Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
I'm not switching my team to some fancy work platform that somehow knows exactly how we work. And its AI features are literally saving us hours every day. We're big fans. And just like that, teams all around the world are falling for Monday.com. With intuitive design, seamless AI capabilities, and custom workflows, it's the work platform your team will instantly click with. Head to Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
What is it like when you go to people's dinners? Can you see that they are just straight up nervous to serve you food?
Oh, well, I don't know what it's like because I've never been invited to anyone's house.
Kitchen culture is really weird. I think it's weirder than being on a set.
Really? Why?
So you guys have both had incredible careers. How long ago did you guys meet?
I had a very frustrated stage with acting, and I don't know if you know this, but I wrote like 20 songs and recorded an album. And
Did not know that.
My kitchen's my place, and I go there when I'm angry. I go there when I'm happy. Bizarrely, I can treat everything.
Oldish. The art of knowing more and caring less. With your host, Randy Spelling, Brian Austin Green, and Sharna Burgess.
All right, welcome back to Oldish, everybody. We are so excited to have two amazing guests with us today. You've got Brian and I here.
Yes.
And our two guests today, we have a fellow Aussie and a fellow 90210 alum. Our parallels are crazy, which we'll get into, but I would love to welcome Curtis Stone and Lindsay Price Stone to Oldish. Welcome, you guys. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us.
I've talked about this before. It is insane that you and I worked together as long as we did on 90210.
Yeah.
You guys are both Australian. Like, what are the odds?
Right.
Which is why we thought it'd be so much fun to sit here and have this conversation, because there are so many parallels. And the more I think about it, the more it's like, it seems impossible that this situation would happen.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's true. We should probably just start a commune.
Yeah,
Right? Like, I feel like it'd be very powerful
Okay,
as
yeah.
a commune.
In Hawaii, no less.
In Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Hawaii.
And Curtis can cook.
Yeah.
Exactly,
I got you.
as you should,
Yeah.
or as we would like. That's actually something that we wanted to ask you. We were going to get into it later, but what is that like for you being a celebrity chef? You're obviously incredible at it. You made me like uni, right? which is a hard thing to do. What is it like when you go to people's dinners? Can you see that they are just straight up nervous to serve you food?
Oh, well, I don't know what it's like because I've never been invited to anyone's house.
So what's funny is we've never invited you over for literally that. Like, because like I enjoy making steaks and stuff on the grill, but then it's like, oh my God, the pressure of you being there. Cause I know you'd be sitting there going, what the fuck is he doing?
If only
This
you
is
knew.
so wrong.
You could serve me the crappiest hamburger and I would be so grateful that someone else was cooking it. You know, cooks never get invited to other people's homes.
Of course they don't.
And it's sad.
I used to
'cause
be
we're so grateful.
No, I used to have a lot stronger social life. And now it's like, I'm like, why isn't anyone inviting us over? That's not true. We do have a couple of friends who, know that they could never compare to professional chef, but they love to entertain. So
Right.
we've been invited like 10 places in
Do you
10
guys
years.
usually get the invites though of like we have dinner from 5:30 to 6:30. You guys come around like 7:30 just
Yeah.
for cocktails.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get
it's that
invited
kind
to
of
lots of
thing.
parties, just not many
Yeah.
dinner parties.
Dinner
Yeah.
parties.
We're just happy to be here, guys. That's, yeah.
What is it like? Do you host a lot of dinner parties?
Yeah.
We do.
And
Yeah.
do you feel like there's pressure for you to have to perform? Or Lindsay, do you do the cooking and Curtis is like, I'm out. This is not my gig.
No, that would never work.
I mean, if we had friends that we didn't want to come back,
Yeah. Oh,
you
it's
could
like
let
that.
it-
Okay.
Oh, shots fired.
Early on in our relationship, I decided to make him dinner, and I had a dinner party. I used to do it not a lot, but often.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
She's a good cook, actually.
And I tried to make coq au vin, which was like ridiculous. And Curtis like ate a little, and then after everyone left, he grabbed a roll and put it in a roll and like made a sandwich. And I think you were just trying to choke it down somehow.
Oh God.
It was really good, but you invited me the day before the dinner party. I think I was a late inclusion. It was our early dating life.
Okay, maybe.
And I was working, so I got there, and it had sat around for a minute.
Oh, I see.
But it was still tasty.
Yeah. But if we entertain now, people do expect something. So I tend to kind of do like a big tablescape. And
Do
like,
you
make
ever
the whole
do the
thing.
cooking, or is it always Curtis that
I make
does it?
a salad.
Okay.
When he's not around, I cook all the time.
Right. For the family.
Like
yeah, you
simple
have
things,
to.
like breakfast, you know,
Right.
like normal mom food. But
Yeah.
I'm lucky he's around and he can delight us.
And do you actually just enjoy cooking all the time?
I do.
Or do
Yeah.
you kind of have those moments at home where you're like, I gotta cook again like this? I've been doing this all day, or like I've been traveling around doing this. I just want somebody to do it for me.
My kitchen's my place, right? And I go there when I'm angry. I go there when I'm happy.
Okay.
I go there when I'm peaceful. I go
Okay.
there when I'm sad. It's just my spot. And bizarrely, I can treat everything for me. You know, like if I'm pissed about something, I can walk into a kitchen and crank some rock and roll music or punk music, and I beat stuff up, and I get all my aggression out. And like, it's,
And then you end up with something great to eat
Yeah.
at the end of it all.
people always say you can't get food from. There's got to be love in the food, you know, and you can taste the love in the food. Dude, I've worked in some kitchens where shit gets thrown at you and people are swearing at each other and it's aggressive and angry and the food's phenomenal. So I don't subscribe to, I get it. Like, you know, you can, of course, with a bit of love.
Right.
It can be a nice place too. But for me, it's all of it. You know, it's-
Interesting.
all
yeah.
of my food is filled with love.
That's true.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
Yes, as it
All
should
of
be.
it.
all of it. So we are, we balance each other out maybe. Yeah.
It's true.
It's incredible. Well, you guys have both had incredible careers, right? And you met, how long ago did you guys meet?
It was 2010, January 2010. So
What was it that, first of all, what is this meet cute story? I want to hear it. You, Curtis, you've shared it with us actually when we did your podcast, but
Yeah.
I would love to hear it again. And what do you think it was that grounded you guys? Like, what was it that you were like, oh, this is it?
We were both pretty thick into our careers, and I think, you know, we're all about the same age, but I think when you're there, like in your early 30s, you're sort of on a train of thinking about your work, and both of our work had us traveling and on sets for long days. And, you know, a relationship is not often, it doesn't really work out that well because you might not be able to offer another person what they would need in time or attention. But I was pretty ready. Like I literally, just before I met him, I had a friend that was like, you should try manifesting because your dating situation is not working out. What do you really want out of someone? And I literally wrote down all of the qualities I wanted. And a friend called me and said, I met your husband. Like, I remember I was walking through a department store and she's like, stop what you're doing. You have to go on a blind date with this guy. Like, you're going to marry him. And it was so stupid. I was like, as if, like, I'm fine. I don't need to be set up. It's okay. But I agreed to take his email, I think, and we emailed back and forth for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took us a while to actually go on that first date.
Boy, not to date the situation too much, but an email.
Yeah,
It's like,
guys, this
we
was like-
faxed each other and
Right.
we decided, you know,
We faxed
we
each
were
other.
good.
Get up a pager.
Yeah. 911.
I sent her a 911. It was pretty, You turn it over, it says boobs on the
Super
screen.
romantic.
Yeah, it's very,
Yeah.
Well, strangely, this is like just before dating apps. So now everyone meets on the apps, but
Right.
we essentially were set up. You know, it was a blind date. Yeah, and she called you too and said, you
Well,
gotta meet this
I was
girl.
with her actually, and she said, I want you to go on this blind date. And I'm like, I'm not going on a blind date. Because, you know, like I thought that I was pretty cool and I didn't need to go on a blind date. And then she flashed a photo of you at me and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. I'm in.
Okay, sure.
So, yeah, it was all your looks, babe.
Oh,
There you
this
go.
old chestnut. I'm
Yeah.
so much more, you know.
So much more than my looks. You guys have built a beautiful life together. I remember, Curtis, when you were telling me the story of how you met, that it was something about this woman that sat in front of you and ordered a whiskey neat or something, and you were
That's
like,
right.
she's completely out of my league.
Oh, yeah, she's way too cool. I was sitting at the bar. She was just a touch late. And I was wondering whether she was
I
going to
was
come at all.
45 minutes late. I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget the date was happening, but I forgot it was that day. Yeah. So
That's so funny because on the opposite with us, I turned up a whole day early. I was like, I'm here.
She got the
to our
date. Yeah,
first
she
date.
was texting me, I'm sitting in the corner. I've got pink hair. You can't miss me. And I was at work.
Oh, no.
And so I didn't even get the messages at first. And so by the time I got them, I saw the whole progression of like, I'm sitting in the corner.
realization.
Okay, so I'm outside. So, the coffee here is really good. So, let me know when you're close. And to finally like, oh my God, this is the wrong day, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
All right.
So I got in on the tail end of that whole experience with her.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, so now I know where the place is. The coffee's fantastic. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, you did a redo. Like you said hi and
Yeah.
then you went back the next day.
But I obviously
our
left. I
plans
was like,
were for the next day.
yeah.
right.
I obviously
Oh my
left and was like,
gosh.
well, that's never going to work out. So,
Right.
But anyway, so you were 45 minutes late to
I
this
was,
date.
yes.
I was drinking a glass of rosé. Lindsay walked in. And it might have been my second glass of rosé because I had been there for just a sec.
Yeah.
And then when you walked in, the bartender said, "What can I get you?" And you said, "What single malts do you have?" And then
Yeah.
he listed a few, and you're like, "I'll take an Oban." And he's like, "On the rocks," and you were
Lagavulin.
like,
That night, at that time,
I was
drinking.
Lagavulin.
Yeah.
and you said, "No, I'll have it neat." And I was like, "Oh, she's way
Rosé.
too cool for me."
Slide that to
Who
the
left that
side.
there?
I was in my single malt phase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you still are, babe. It's
I think
been
I know.
15
It's
years
true.
phase.
I love
It's
it. So
true.
badass. I was never that girl. I was like, Aussies, we start drinking so young. So there was definitely the vodka Red Bulls back in the day, which
vodka
I
Red
could
Bull.
never imagine now. Kill me. My
Man.
God. But it was always like a glass of wine or a beer. I'm a beer girl, but I've never been as cool like that. Just like, give me
I
a
read
whiskey
all
neat.
about it. Like I just read how, you make it and distill it and they take the peat from the highlands and it just seemed so romantic to me. And then this place that I lived in New York just before we met in the West Village was called Hudson Bar and Books. Is that how we named our son?
Is that where you met?
No, but I love that bar.
I
books, it was
love
whiskey
that
and
the realization might have just come
happened right now.
That's amazing.
It was my favorite place because I was working and I was single and I, also most of my friends lived in LA. So I'd go downstairs and they had just wall to wall books and tons of whiskeys and scotches and Hudson Bar and Books. That's all it was. That's so funny.
Maybe that's where it came from.
No, it can't be. Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
Well, don't tell him.
I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Because you asked us about cooking and, obviously one
Yeah.
person does it for a living and the other doesn't.
Yeah.
What's it like for you when people start getting up to dance? Are you like,
So people always ask me like, oh, do you guys dance all the time? It's like, no, I am so, terrified. Cause so couples normally they do the fun thing of like, oh, we're going to go like salsa dancing
Right.
together and like go take a class. And it's like, she's going to be better than any salsa, teacher that we have. So I'm going to feel like the dummy that I'm just like, she's dragging me around the floor. So we don't.
We don't. I really want
Really?
us to. I really want to get to the point where we go and take dance classes together.
Right.
Because I don't
It's too
think it can be
intimidating.
me that teaches him. Like we tried that on Dancing with the Stars. It
did.
was okay.
Yeah.
We did okay.
No, it's
but
weird.
I think for us to just
Weird thing.
I would love to just go and take classes with him on something that I also still need to learn, like Argentine Tango, for example. So romantic and so fun. I know it
What
ish.
couples go, hey, let's go take an Argentine tango class
Many.
together.
Wow.
we just did salsa classes in
we did,
Mexico.
and we did.
But you didn't do an Argentine
No, that's
tango class
very
together.
specific,
It's very specific.
and I want to do it.
Yes, exactly.
Let's do it.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Lindsay. See?
But don't
I
you
would
like
love that.
dance parties around the house?
No, I do
Like-
with the kids sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
and they love having dance parties. But Bri really doesn't love to dance. Like we'll sometimes do funny
and
videos.
I used to dance all the time.
I
Yeah,
think I remember you like being quite a
I
dancer,
was.
on the show. Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Not anymore.
Like some serious.
hip hop.
Yeah, hip hop.
Mainly. So it's,
Yeah.
I think going from that form to all of a sudden being with someone that is like a trained dancer.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's a killer.
different.
I mean, she's won every award there is to win in Australia
Every
And
award.
beyond.
Australia, yeah.
and beyond. But like, I mean, I would be super intimidated. I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny because yes, I do all of that. But even when I used to go out at any age, I was never the kid that teenage years different maybe, but I was never the kid that got up in the circle to dance to try and show
That
off.
is
I
not
loved
true.
other people. How would you know?
When we first started dating, you brought me to a birthday party for one of the cast members, and it was literally
That was
just
Max's
you
birthday,
guys.
yeah.
And you were like, "Oh, I love a good circle," and I was like, "Hey, go have fun." And you went right out, and you were.
That's
you were
within
in
a space of all Dancing with the Stars people,
Right.
and
Yes.
it's a game where a person does a move, you copy it, then someone adds on, you copy it. It's all part of it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really I've never really been the girl to just jump in at the club and show off so people look at me.
Yeah,
I've always, because my dance style is ballroom dancing and it's always with another person, I get deeply insecure about dancing on my own.
Really?
Yeah, out in public because
Like
everyone
at the
expects
club.
me to be amazing. Yeah, but
I
I'm
never
not.
knew that.
I'm not a crazy. There you go.
Amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
not a crazy hip hop dancer. I don't do
Yeah.
all these amazing commercial moves. I can do them when taught, but freestyling isn't my thing. So
Right.
I would get crippling anxiety when people would be like, "Here, come and dance in the circle," and I just
Because they
cold
expect
sweats.
so much too of you, right?
They expect you to be phenomenal. So
Yeah.
it's not like that. But to take it all back to like the question of would we do dance classes together? I would love to. Zero judgment on my part. I would just love to be able to hear a song and dance in the kitchen with him because that to me is like so romantic.
I just don't believe that.
Don't believe
I don't believe
That it's
That it would be
romantic?
zero judgment.
Oh.
No, I believe
right.
it would be romantic for sure. Do you honestly believe that there's zero judgment if you were cooking?
I won't even like peel an orange in front of him without thinking that he's like, why are you doing it like that?
And you guys have
And
been
he
married for how
is.
long now?
For a long time.
Yeah, 15 years.
Well, we've been together for 15 years.
15 years, and you won't even peel an orange in front of him.
I will, but I hate it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you do it, and you
That's
turn
nice.
around,
Yeah.
and you make sure that he can't see.
Yeah. It's look,
real.
It is very real. I definitely, but it's also interesting too, because in our house, I feel bad because he's the one that takes on the load of making all the meals. Like, you know, we just had like amazing Easter lunch. We had lunch. It was almost dinner time, but like everything that you could ever dream of. And he's like a one-man band in our house. And we have guests coming and they all expect a lot. And it's, you know, he's used to having 4 people behind him cleaning up and also doing the mise en place or whatever it is. What is mise en place? Is that what you call it? and he's by himself at home, you know? So I try to get in there and like clean up behind him or, you know, do the chopping of something. And he's just like, get out. He just doesn't, you don't want my.
Well, because I'm using the knife, okay?
Yeah.
And then I go to the fridge to get something else out, and she's put the knife away. And I'm like,
I was helping.
and she's like, I'm helping. I'm like,
Right, no, it's
that's
not helpful.
baby.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
Right.
Sit down, drink a glass of wine, and talk to me. That's
and I
helpful.
do that. And I make the
And
playlist.
she's
Are
very good at that.
you super social when people come over, or are you just kind of you get in your own zone as you're doing stuff?
It's an interesting skill that you try and get better at because you know, like normally you're just the cook, right? And you're organizing the party and you're not entertaining people.
Right.
So it's a much safer place to be. It's much easier just to like drill down and go for it.
Right.
And I used to be like, I remember we had one of our first ever fights. We were having a party and I started like getting ready, like in my mind, I'm getting ready for service. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like abruptly pushing chairs around. And Lindsay's like, what's your problem? And I was like, what? She's like, you're being so aggressive. And I was like, what are you talking about? Anyway, we had this.
This is what I do. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
it was like that mad thing, but it was also kind of hot. But I was like, as long as you're not mad at me,
Right.
this is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but so it's interesting when you've got, you know, you're trying to be the chef, but then you're also just trying to hang out with your mates.
Right.
Yeah, it's a skill.
Kitchen culture is really weird, guys.
It's weird.
Super weird. I think it's weirder than being on a set.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
It attracts artistic people, similarly to showbiz. But there are a bunch of misfits. Like it's a lot of people who need a little bit of that aggression, I think, or like extra perfection, or, you know,
Interesting.
maybe something about the pressure of making the service on time, like that under the gun feeling. They like that rush. And so I think in a kitchen, it attracts different types of personalities, but always a little bit of like a hodgepodge of misfits. That's my take on it. So and it's really intense.
Run away and join the circus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were talking about like, you know, the whole like cooking with love thing is great, but the reality is you have so many different emotions that you. Yeah. So finding those people, it's like true artists that are just out of their minds.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like that thing of you don't want to tame that because then it's going to possibly affect the art. So you're kind of like trying to find the balance.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're both, speaking of artists,
I'm not switching my team to some fancy work platform that somehow knows exactly how we work. And its AI features are literally saving us hours every day. We're big fans. And just like that, teams all around the world are falling for Monday.com. With intuitive design, seamless AI capabilities, and custom workflows, it's the work platform your team will instantly click with. Head to Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
Imagine this. The best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
both amazing artists and highly successful at what you do. Have you ever had to balance your egos? Like, how did you come together with that when you're both chasing after massive careers and building and doing, and you have to have an ego to be in that space, right? Not in a negative sense, but to be going after what you're doing. How do you find balance with each other with that, being such strong personalities?
Curtis really, I think he came to his celebrity rather like reluctantly, or if anything, it just wasn't something that he was seeking out. So, and then the opposite with me is I started at such a young age. I was kind of always aware that people were looking at me or wanted to talk to me for reasons of, you know, knowing me and not knowing me. And, you know, I always just sort of, we grew up very differently. And then when we met, I was at a stage in my career where I'd worked my whole life and I was looking for more, just a deeper, like if you got to the other side of your life, you'd look back and say, that's what I did it for, kind of thing. Marriage, kids, you know, just the whole story. So I was comfortable with sort of taking a break while his star was kind of rising at the time. So it just sort of naturally took that timeline.
See, I got a lot cooler when I met Lindsay. I wasn't that cool.
Again, whiskey neat, right?
I didn't drink whiskey. I drove like, I think I still had a rent-a-car when I met. Did I have a car? Yeah.
You did not have a car.
I was still like,
Yeah.
because I was in and out of the country a little bit. So I'd just like pick up a rent-a-car when I came in, keep it for 6 weeks, and then I'd drop it off again. And I was like, I've never got my car washed because it's always a rent-a-car. Yeah. And every time I pick up a new one, it's clean.
Just rent a car, by the way, not a hire car.
Not a hire car.
A rent a car. Thank you very much.
There's some of these Australian things that I hear and it's like, I can't.
You mean hire car? I'm like, no, I mean a rent a car. Okay.
But you guys say hire car.
Hire car.
Don't you?
No, we say rent a car.
Oh, but you would say, I'm going to hire a car.
Right.
I say I'm going to rent a car.
Oh, really?
There's literally a company, I think, called Rent a Car.
Called Rent-A-Car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then what do you call, then how, because I hear you say hire car all the time.
Yeah.
Because I've adjusted.
We don't say hire a car here, do we?
No.
No. We're going to rent a car.
Yeah.
Oh.
We don't say hire anything unless
Oh.
you get hired for a job.
All right, then we'll ignore me. I've got it backwards then. You don't say hire car?
No,
You guys are blending
it's a rental
cultures.
car.
It's beautiful to watch.
Oh, I love that.
Never
Our
hire
communication's
car.
really strong,
It's
you
just
guys.
like looking into a
We're
mirror.
always
It
on the
is.
same page.
This is like mirror work.
There are things all the time that she throws like, oh, it's on the bench. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what bench? And she's like, oh, the kitchen one right there. Oh, the counter? Is that the bench you're talking about?
Yeah.
All the time. She'll say things and I'm like, I can't.
The kitchen bench. I got to find a park. I'm like, there's one in Griffith and there's one in Central. Like, what are you talking about? I just got a park. Did you get a park? you know what I'm saying? Like,
Wait, I don't understand what's wrong with this statement.
Maybe this is not an Aussie thing. So when you're looking for a parking space, you just say, I'm looking for a park.
Yeah.
You don't say parking space.
Right.
No, we shorten everything.
Right.
Right.
But
that's confusing to us.
Actually
Yeah.
things.
Right.
We can understand what each other are saying without having to spell out every syllable of every word.
It's very true.
The English language is beautiful, and we should use all the words.
Right.
All of them.
Right. They're there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, why?
Give me all the words.
Why shorten all of this
All the
stuff?
syllables.
Why are we even talking about this?
Well, listen, I was saying I got a lot cooler when I met you.
Yes.
You had a 66 Oldsmobile. I drive that car and everyone's like, nice ride. And I'm like, thanks. It's not mine. And Lindsay's always been way more stylish, way cooler than I have been.
Yeah.
And I think she did the most humble thing on the planet when we had kids, where she was like, you know what? I'm not going to go work in Canada. I'm not going to go work in the Catskills. I'm going to be a mum. And if the work is the stuff that's really right for me and I can do it, then I'll do it. And I think that's a really challenging thing about what you guys do for a living. You know, like if you're going to take a little break, it's now you're absolutely ready to like dive back in head first, and you're like, oh, let me at it. And it's awesome, but it's a tough business. Like there's not many jobs on the planet that you need someone to say, okay, you can do it. Do you know what I mean? Most people can just go get a job. But as an actor, as a singer, as an artist,
You kind of have to start over a little bit too. Like it's, you have to re-knock on those doors and let everybody know like, oh, hey, I'm back here again.
right.
Absolutely. But I knew that. I mean, speaking of ego, to go back to your original question, for sure my ego is, I literally have been defined by my work for most of my life. You know, it has made me feel good about who I am. It's a part of my identity. So being with him doesn't mean that I let that go, but choosing to be in our family is more important, which makes me go to a place of having to like let my ego die down a little bit. You know, years and years into this, I still like, I'm not able to not have something creative. And even in the way that I parent my kids, it's incredibly in the moment, as they say. And like, I'm always making the beauty and the creativity and the fun. I also want my boys to know that they should choose a partner who has passions and dreams and a job, you know, that it's an equal partnership. We've recently got to that place where we're like ready to let them, you know, they're one's in middle school now. So it's a different phase, but all the life that I live so completely focused is only going to serve the work that I do from here on out. So I don't mind banging on doors. It's pretty exciting because I've got all this stuff behind me now.
Are both of them into music?
They are. Yeah, they are. Emerson, our little guy, he's a drummer.
Where do you
is
think that
fun.
came from? Are either one of you in music?
I had a very frustrated stage with acting, and I don't know if you know this, but I wrote like 20 songs and recorded an album. And
Did not know that.
yeah, and I played like the Viper Room and the Whiskey, and like
Wait, when was
this was after 90210, just after 90210. And just before I did that Lipstick Jungle show and moved to New York, I was just like playing out and writing for other bands. And I love music. I feel like
She can sing like an
Come I
angel.
never knew that.
Really?
because I don't think I would have ever been like, guess what? Because you were really into music and producing and like lots of stuff.
So were you if you were at the Viper Room and doing stuff.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I'm not trying to put this on my kid, but I would sing to them every night before bed. He has perfect pitch. He's super melodic. And he picked up a guitar during COVID and just took off. I think there's something to, especially with boys, and I could be wrong, but at that time, like, you know, putting feelings into something that wasn't like, let's talk about how it sucks that I'm not seeing my friends or I'm afraid of everyone getting sick. Like he just took to music and it unlocked this whole thing for him. And now he's opening for Lenny Kravitz on Friday at the Beachside Festival.
What?
I know.
This is amazing. This is
It's
huge.
just bonkers. And I'm so like, can you please go into finance? Like, don't do this to us. But how could you stop your kid from shining and doing something they love to do? Yeah. And Emerson's an incredible drummer. He's younger. He's figuring things out, but he's pretty sure he'll.
So I grew up with music. My dad's a drummer.
I didn't realize your dad was a drummer. Oh
That's
my gosh.
where the music for me came from.
Right.
My dad is still a drummer. Like he'll play drums anywhere.
Wow.
For anything. Like he plays with some guys doing like country stuff at Mexican restaurants, literally just for salsa. They'll just give him a thing of salsa and chips.
Amazing.
And he's like, that's it. That's all I need. Like he doesn't need to be paid on top of it. Which is
awesome.
You know, my mom isn't thrilled about that. But
right.
Yeah.
It's music is, you know, especially as a musician, like when you find that instrument that you can speak with.
Yeah.
Then it just becomes like an extension of you, and it's exciting to play. It feels so natural to do it. Like, which is why to hear that he picked up a guitar and it just worked is like, oh yeah, that's what people do. They find that instrument, and it, whether it's an upright bass, whether it's, you never know what it's going to be, but you pick up that one thing and you go, oh yeah, this is it. Like the way you feel in a kitchen.
Right.
Where you're in there and you go, oh, this is absolutely my third arm.
It's funny you say it because I notice with Hud, he either goes and picks up his guitar when he's bummed about something or if he's feeling really good. But sort of they're those two extremes for him, you know. And whenever I hear him play, I'm like, oh, okay, you're feeling that. I get it.
It's a nice little clue, right?
Yeah.
You'd be like, that sounds...
Yeah. And even the song choice is interesting. Yeah.
We got home the day after the fires. You know, we were evacuated for almost 3 weeks. And he did bring his guitar with him when we left. It was the one thing he grabbed, but he didn't play it at all when we were away. And the day we got home, we crawled up into my bed and he got the guitar and he just wrote this song about the fires. And it was, I mean, like I've written songs before and I never put what I would want in a melody, you know, onto him. I just let him do it. It was so good. And then he ended up being able to play it at the Rose Bowl for a fire aid relief show and stand in front of firefighters who actually fought on our street, you know, to keep our house safe. And he worked at Curtis. They donated a dinner to that same event. And it was just an awesome experience as a family. Like, you know, we're really grateful. We look at each other all the time. And, you know, this is the stuff that matters, you know?
Yeah.
Both of you coming from careers that are in the public eye, how do you feel about that for your kids? Like you have two kids that may very well end up in that. We talk about this all the time, but what is the conversation you have around that?
God, we don't talk about it much, do we?
No.
We probably should.
Yeah. Probably now officially we should talk about it.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Yeah, thanks,
Let's
guys. Oof. Yeah, you know, I think ultimately you just want your kids to be safe first and foremost, especially as young people.
Yeah.
And then not get heartbroken. For me, starting so young and having like a slow build of success, I really did. I took step by step, but I never stopped working, but I didn't come too fast. I was always told that if I didn't get a job or if I was rejected from something, it just wasn't my path, which I think built a resiliency and sort of an overall like peace, knowing that I was the actor I was and the artist I was, the person I was. It really had nothing to do with me. It was actually good for me. And I think it shaped me. But Curtis comes from Melbourne and nobody's like doing Toys R Us commercials there. And the idea of being a child actor is super weird.
Right. Well, you know, I mean, I chose to be a cook like 40 years ago. So I started cooking 30 years ago. And I remember the first day in the uniform room getting given my uniform. I worked in a 5-star hotel and I put this uniform on and I saw myself in the mirror and I got the giggles so hard because I'm like, we wore gingham pants, a white jacket, a white neckerchief, a hat this big. And like it was the most ridiculous. And then a white apron. And I was just standing there thinking, oh my God, I'm going to wear this shit my whole life. Like, it was so uncool to be a chef. You know, like I got teased by my mates at the footy club because it was a bit of a sissy. You know, there was no Food Network. There was no Jamie Oliver at that point. There was no it wasn't cool.
Yeah, you were in early.
I was in early. So like the idea of being famous, that never even crossed my mind, you know, like, so it's interesting because I developed a craft and then the media sort of came along, but it was never really anything I looked for. But now you talk to these kids and they all want to be influencers, you know.
They all want to be famous.
They all want to be famous.
Yeah.
And I feel like it can be such a combustible life if you chase something. It's
looking for
hard.
external validation, which is the tricky thing, right? And like our kids will say, well, we want to be famous at what we do because that's a signal of success.
Mm-hmm.
Also because both of their parents, you know, people will come up to us and say, we really loved you on that show, or we love your food. And that feels so good to them. They want that feeling for themselves. But I just think it's really important to let them know that the actual happiness will never come from the validation.
That's going to complete.
Where do you guys land on it? How do you feel about it for your kids?
We have incredibly talented kids. One of them taught themselves Beethoven's Fifth off of YouTube, can sing like an angel, like very talented kids. Also Joni, the youngest, it's like, I want to be an actor. But you grew up in it, I grew up in it. I think both of you are very lucky considering the generation that you grew up in. Many kids didn't make it and went through some really hard times.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about it and it's like, you know what? Yeah, build the skill and absolutely learn the art form and get amazing at it. And those opportunities will be there for you when you're 18. And no one's going to say no to like a phenomenal performance at the Hollywood Bowl. Like that's different to being like, let's get you a record label and send you on tour as a kid, like Hanson or Justin Bieber. So I think it's the absolute support and love of you're great at this. And I see that and I want you to do that. But I want you to do it when you're mentally ready and able for what it comes with it,
Right.
you know, and none of them have pushed back. The oldest is only 13, so we'll see. But, you know, it is hard. All the kids at school, YouTube accounts and, you know, Twitch accounts for games, and they idolize these influencers now that are, some aren't even famous for a skill. It's just famous for being wild on YouTube. And it's like, and we don't really let them watch that in our home, but they see it at school.
Right.
They see it from friends. And so it's a day-by-day conversation, really, of trying to give them a moral compass. And
it's always evolving. Yeah, that's always at the end of the day is our push, is just to make sure that morally they're good people, because they're going to, we have no control ultimately of what they choose to do or that.
Eventually.
As long as they're good people in whatever it is they do, that is, to me, that's like job done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that got us through it all.
Right.
And why we're still alive and doing well now is because I think our moral compasses were always there.
That's right. Good job.
How did you, Curtis, adjust to fame? Because for me, I was similar, right? I didn't expect to be on a TV show with dance. I thought I was going to be a world champion ballroom dancer, own a dance studio in Wagga Wagga, and that's my life. Like, the things changed very dramatically. And when I moved to Los Angeles, it was a huge adjustment for me to understand what it was like being in the public eye, understand the culture and dynamics of Los Angeles, the entertainment industry, and then suddenly having people have an opinion on me. It was really hard. I honestly didn't love it, and it made me uncomfortable for a long time. Sure, it feels very good when people are like, I love your dancing out in public, but it also comes with other negative stuff. I'll never forget the first time I saw a page that was like the We Hate Sharna Burgess fan club.
What?
And I was, oh yeah, they exist, whether it's Reddit or whatever it used to be at the time. You know, as many people love you, there's always going to be people that don't. But how was it for you adjusting to sudden fame when it wasn't something you aimed for?
I think initially it was sort of around my food, you know, so that sort of felt good because it was like, yeah, that's what I work at, you know. And I guess even to a certain extent, just being the chef of a restaurant, people come into that restaurant and then they ask to see the chef, or you go out to say hello to someone. And so you sort of, that's not being famous by any stretch, but you're sort of famous in your own building, if you know what I mean. So that always felt really good. And then when I first sort of was on television here in the States, I was young and single, you know, like I was 30. And I was like, this is awesome. I get
That
all
was
this
Take Home
attention
Chef,
from
right?
girls.
Yeah.
And it totally changes your dating life because you go from, you know, getting the average amount of attention from the opposite sex to suddenly being a little bit more popular. And that for me was rad. And I, you know, most people probably wouldn't admit it, but I was like, awesome. I can get into any nightclub I want to get into. This is so easy.
That's how it was for me with 90210. It was the same thing. Like in school, I wasn't like, I I rarely dated. I was like this super hyper kind of obnoxious kid. You know, I was really small. And then all of a sudden I'm doing the show and I'm getting attention. It was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like I can do no wrong at this point. But then it messes with your head at the same time because then you're like, oh my God, you start valuing the wrong things and you start being really insecure and really worried about how people feel about you and you start putting value and all of that in the wrong place.
Right.
What was the flip side for you of that?
Well, I think you wonder whether any of it's sincere. You know, like even friendships, you find it really easy to make friends, you know, when people know who you are. And then you kind of, it's interesting because I've got a super grounded, my brother's keeps my feet well and truly on the ground. And so do all my mates, like my best mates. One's a concreter, one's a bricklayer, you know, like they're just run-of-your-mill dudes. And you can sort of see them judging the newer people in your life. And I think they probably have their antenna up that, they just want to be mates with him because he's famous or what he's got to offer him or whatever. So I think that it does sort of make you a little bit more wary.
All your mates still live in Australia?
Yeah, like all my really close mates.
Yeah.
I grew up, like most of my close mates I've known for 45 years, you know, like it's a funny experience back there. You know, you sort of, your friends stick with you a long time. And I mean, look, it gives you some amazing opportunities in life. It also means you have to answer the same 10 questions all the time, which I know you guys would go through. Yeah. Again, I worked with this guy who had all these crazy tats, and everywhere we'd go, he'd have the same conversation about his tattoos. And I'm like, oh my God, I'd get them taken off. I couldn't have that same conversation. Right. But it's a bit like being, you know, well known for something. Everybody wants to talk to you about that one thing.
In golf, precision is everything, on and off the course. PGA of America chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business for smooth operations and seamless transactions. Together, we enhance ticketing and concessions for better fan experiences from gate to green. This is pro-level efficiency. This is PGA of America with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
What if an appliance emergency didn't have to be? If your appliances suddenly decided they were done, don't stress. Best Buy has you covered with a wide variety of major appliances from trusted brands, in stock and available now. So you don't have to worry about laundry piling up, refilling the fridge, or that big dinner party you're hosting. Because Best Buy has the knowledge and expertise to get you the right appliance for your home. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
That's all right.
What is the question you get asked the most where you're like, oh, this again?
It's funny because I go back to Australia all the time and I feel like I should get a T-shirt printed that says, because everyone's like, when'd you get back? How long are you back for?
Yeah.
You know, like you just get those same few questions. Yeah. What inspired you to become a chef? You know, like it's just the obvious stuff.
Right.
Which I'm not offended by it, but I think it makes you feel like you'd rather just have a different conversation. Totally. You know, like if someone said to me once, if I approach someone famous, what should I do? I'm like, just talk to them like you'd talk to anyone else. Don't talk to them about what they do or, you know, the obvious, every question that you instinctively want to ask, don't ask. Just like speak to them like they're normal humans.
Isn't it weird though, the whole thing of that, people assume that all celebrities know each other. So like you walk in a room and you see somebody that you've never met before, but you know who they are. And you guys like right away start talking like your old friends because you kind of feel the pressure to do that. Oh,
that like celebrity inside nod. Like
it's a weird space. Like it's a very...
Yeah.
I've honestly never observed it that way, but that is true. It's like sometimes when I'm in rooms with people, I'll feel like I have to pretend like I really know them, even though I've never really met them.
It's confusing a bit, right?
That's weird. Like, I've never thought of that before. I'm a people pleaser though, so it makes sense.
Yeah. It is a funny thing. I think at the end of the day, the celebrity of it all it's those two things, like signaling that you're successful at what you do, but also that validation piece. Curtis gets a little bit freaked out when people are only friends with celebrities.
Oh yeah, right.
Do you know those people who
For sure.
they only talk about their friends that are like famous?
Oh, have you been to the Bun? You're like, no,
and that's a
I had dinner
problem.
with my family on Friday night. Like I didn't go to we don't go to movie premieres and red carpet things and stuff. Like that's just not, unless we have to.
Right.
Unless someone's like, it's best, it's really good.
Or
if
to
you do
support a
this.
friend or, you know,
sure.
yeah, all that.
But
Yeah.
how was it for you? You were doing Lipstick Jungle in New York.
Yeah.
Every time you'd leave the house, your head's on a bus or a billboard of some description.
We talked about that briefly.
We have spoken about that. It's wild. Yeah, it's a wild feeling. But also, strangely, and it's not just for boys. I mean, I don't know if you were single when you were single when the show started. For women too, like if you're famous, they want to date you. Like it's just, it goes from one level of, you know, suitors to another. But the same thing, you don't really know if they're into you for the right reasons, you know?
Do you feel like when people would approach you, they would assume you as your character, or that your character is like you from pick a show, right? Or it's any work you've done, obviously their favorite work, Lipstick Jungle, 90210.
Right.
And they assume you are that character.
I mean, I was pretty much my character on 90210. Like her voice, that Janet voice was, I've got that humor. That's my sort of sensibility. I'm sensitive like that. All of it was sort of written dry.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me. That role was just like, I could just like step right into it every day. The Lipstick Jungle character was so glamorous. It was like that quintessential rom-com heroine, you know, the Carrie Bradshaw.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever truly felt that I was cool enough to play that role, you know, keeping up with the fashion and the appearances of it all, like being that girl was fun, but definitely a stretch for me, like in the core of who I am.
I always feel that way if I have to do something and it's like I'm playing an investigator or some. I always feel like, God, they can see right through me that I am so not this person.
Right.
I can't imagine, like, say, Grey's Anatomy or the medical jargon that they have to use. I'm like, how do you? They're not real words.
Clooney said he used to write all that stuff on like little Post-its and things, and literally stick it on somebody like that was on a gurney in a scene, and he would just read it all because it wasn't.
It's so unnatural to say it.
It's so unnatural.
I had to say idiosyncratic cardiomyopathy with congestive heart failure one time. And look, I just know it now because I was like, please don't forget it. Please don't forget it.
Right.
Some things are not natural, but those are the more fun roles to play. I don't know if you agree. I like to be different people.
Like the procedurals, really?
No, not procedurals. Oh, that I think would be difficult for me to do. I had to play
a soldier in something, and that was actually fun because normally I tend to paraphrase dialogue more to kind of fit me. And with that one, I was like, I don't want to paraphrase any of this because this is just not the way I speak at all. And it's important that the character speaks this way and lives this way.
Right.
So it took me forever just to learn all the like specificity and words.
And then you can't just like let it go and just be in it.
I know.
That's the only thing about that.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's such a skill what you guys have. It really is. Like Lindsay gives me a script and says, read this for me. And I can't even read it. Never alone remember it. And if I've ever tried to like just remember a couple of lines, because she's like, it's hard when I'm just talking to the top of your head, mate. And you just like looking at
This is for like self-tapes, you know, for somewhere and I really need someone to read with me. Yeah.
So I'll try. And I'm like, I can't remember that one. And I bomb her auditions all the time. She ends up calling her mum.
She's become a really amazing actress.
Really?
Yeah.
Will you come read with me?
Yeah, I'll read with that for sure. I will.
So that's where it started for me during COVID when we were doing a lot of the self tapes and everything at home. She would read with me, and I was always like, "Oh my God, you're like really good at this." And now
That's awesome.
Now she's taking classes. She's been in a couple films that I've done. Like it's
great,
and she's phenomenal. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy. I really do love it.
Yeah.
It's a whole other world that I didn't think I had any business stepping into because I was like, I'm a dancer. That's what I've trained my whole life to be. And people would tell me all the time, no, you're a storyteller. You should try acting. And just imposter syndrome, right? But when he's saying it to me and he doesn't bullshit anybody, he's not going to say it to me if I'm not actually good at it. He really wouldn't set me up for it. And so then I got into class and I got in my first scene study class and I was like, oh, oh, whoa, this is like,
It's really fun.
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you're an artist, and
Yeah.
it's like picking up a different media. It's like, a different type of way of expressing yourself.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
beautiful. But do you actually find there's any crossover between your art forms? Because they're both beautiful art forms, but do you find there's any parallels or ways you could ever collaborate with each other?
I mean,
Like a Christmas rom-com cooking movie. I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there.
exactly what we were pitched last year.
There you go.
That's so funny. I don't know. I'll never say never. Curtis is, when he reads with me for the self-tapes, like my agents and managers will be like, your work was really good, but you're going to have to do it again.
Oh, no.
Because
I'm just too distracting.
he's so distracting.
I just want to steal the show.
He's
Even when I'm
overacting.
not trying to.
Yeah.
She's like, babe, you're just overacting so badly. And I'm like, I'm just reading it.
I'm like, no,
And she's
you're
like,
not.
No, you're not.
You
You're
are not
You're
just
like,
reading
You're
it.
trying to embody that 13-year-old girl's voice. Like, just read. And I really am just trying to read.
It's because you care so much. You're trying to like do a good job for me.
Terrible.
But
I'm
anyway,
also tone deaf, so we could never collaborate on singing or acting.
that's a hard no.
truth.
Hard no.
Well, how about other things? Because yes, you're an entrepreneur. You've had many incredible shows, but you're also an incredible creative and business mind yourself. Do you feel like you're also part of the magic behind some of the concepts that Curtis has come up with
For
and the work he's
sure.
done?
Gotcha.
You're
We've
a
done-
team on that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talk about everything, and a lot of what comes out of his work and business life is lifestyle, and we share a lifestyle. So we often speak about and have been asked to collaborate on things, and I think we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it for sure.
Lindsay's got the most beautiful style of anyone I've ever met. She's like, whether it's dressing herself or someone else, whether it's designing a room, she really, she's helped me massively with my event business, and she chooses all the music in the restaurants. She sets perfect ambiances. She's cool.
Thanks. And
Amazing. Speaking of your restaurants, I have to say that Gwen was one of, I think, the best meal I've ever had. It's
Thank you.
so yummy. And I think it's definitely
So
my favorite
yummy.
place. If we weren't
Which is
as
why
far
I would
away
never
from
cook
it,
you a steak.
yeah, totally. If we weren't so far away from it, I'd go there every week. It was so good.
Wouldn't do
and
it.
thank you, by the way, for the Christmas ham that you got sent
Oh,
through.
pleasure.
I was
how
a
was it?
massive hit. I was a massive hit at Christmas, and I
Nice.
absolutely nailed it with all your advice. And I, for the very first time, used sage with pork, which was in one of the recipes
It's
you
good,
said,
right?
and it's next level. So yeah, I was a hit at Christmas. I crushed
Good.
it.
so good. That's so good.
So we've been kind of sitting down, coming up with questions, and I had some funny ones that just really, I mean, we've talked about them a little bit, but I have a couple
Okay.
for you. So, and these are like, if you can really be honest with these, what's your internal monologue like when someone proudly serves you overcooked pasta?
Oh, well, like I said, that never happens in someone's home because we never get invited to dinner parties. My mother-in-law, she can throw some doozies on the table.
Overcooked pasta?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering whether she's ever going to hear this. I really hope not.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of my stepmom, not my mother-in-law.
I was like, you're in trouble
I'm in
right now.
No,
Yeah.
my mother-in-law's a good cook. She's a good cook.
Okay.
She'll never share her recipes with you
Okay.
though. So
Okay.
you just got to try and be real sneaky and watch what she does.
Okay.
She's a good cook. Yeah. My
Do you have that internal monologue though that kind of comes in where like the
like,
chef
oh,
side of you is
yeah.
going,
yeah, I'm just going to pretend this is perfect.
oh my God.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
yeah. I get it.
Is there anything that you secretly love eating that would shock your fans, like boxed mac and cheese?
Okay, so there's a snack called Nut Thins.
Yeah, nut thin.
And
You know Nut
Do you know
Thins?
them? And they have the cheese powder, the cheese dust on them.
Oh,
I'll eat them until my tongue gets sore. From the
they're so bad for you, Curtis.
And
The
they are
salt ones are okay,
They are
but the
the
cheese ones
Wait, are those Australian?
crunchiest.
Yeah.
You know the sound of nut thins?
Yeah.
Okay, imagine the regular sound of a regular person eating nut thins times 50. That's what it sounds like when Curtis eats nut
That's
thins.
I've got four in at a time.
It's just so it's aggressive nut thin eating.
So is this almost like a pet peeve of yours? This like
it is
massive,
the pet peeve.
It is the pet
yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, but it's his favorite snack.
Like open mouth, like loud breathing.
No
like you're
over
just
mouth.
in it?
No open mouth. Just
Open mouth is a cause for divorce, in my opinion.
Yeah,
if you
no,
are a
keep it
mouth
closed.
breather eating with your open mouth, I'm like, I cannot do this. This is hurting my soul.
But if you're just like pouring these nut thins into your mouth, like how do you
You do one at a time, like a regular human being.
But he said he doesn't do one at a time.
it's when
got a powerful
four
jaw.
crunch against each other at the same time that you get that sonic boom sound.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. And because the mouth is open, it's like a siren. It's like a megaphone. Like you
Totally.
just-
All right, a few rapid fires for your last few minutes here.
Okay.
The last show that you binged together.
White Lotus.
White Lotus, yeah.
Ooh, White Lotus.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
We haven't quite finished
We
it.
can never really finish. We're so tired.
Lindsay goes to sleep at 9 o'clock.
Same thing for me. If I lay in bed to watch something, I'm good for like
Yeah.
15 minutes. And then I'm like, I tell her like I'm going to sleep and she'll be up for another hour and a half reading and doing stuff. I'm
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah, as long as I'm
We
in
have to
bed.
sit on a couch.
Sit up straight.
Yeah.
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 Same.
Okay, biggest parenting fail that you can now laugh about.
There's been so many.
Yeah.
Like if you had to have the birds and the bees conversation and you're like, I probably didn't handle that well. Or is
yeah.
I nailed that one. I nailed that
Did you?
conversation. Yeah.
I've messed that up a couple of times.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's yours.
Yeah, my last one, I was with Hudson. We went to, we were at a resort somewhere and we went for a swim and we ended up in the hot tub and I was like, but let's just talk. And then so I was like, maybe I'll break the ice. So I started telling him about my first girlfriend.
Let me tell you about Louise Bachelor. And he was
And
like,
he's like, Dad, I'll get out. And I was like, just sit down and chill out. And he was literally about to get out of the pool just so he didn't have to listen to it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
now there's
I'm not good at
he
it.
shut down the avenue of father-son talks and now,
It all comes to Mum.
yeah.
Okay.
Mum does it. All right.
She's probably
Got
got
you.
better, so that's okay.
Who apologizes first in an argument?
I do.
You do? Same. It must be an Aussie thing. I think I apologize while arguing, honestly. Or maybe even before
Same.
it.
You answered that so fast. Well, I don't necessarily agree. I think we're pretty even in apologizing for things.
Okay.
No, I hold out. I hold out.
Use one word to describe each other.
Lovely.
One word. Oh, that's so nice.
You want to do something?
No, I want to.
He's home. Home. You're home.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
And what was yours?
Lovely.
Lovely.
She's
Lovely.
lovely.
Lovely and home. That's beautiful. Most used emoji in your texts to each other.
Oh, we're not. Curtis doesn't text. It's kind of a problem because I really like to text, and you don't really
you
use
sure
them.
do.
I love it.
I'll call her, she won't answer, and then she'll text me immediately. And I'm like,
Text by force.
text
You
my
will
phone.
text me. You will text me back.
You know who's that way who doesn't like to text? Soleil.
Oh,
Does
she
not
doesn't
like to
text.
She's like, I like to call. It's like the phone rings right away and I see it's Soleil.
Yeah,
It's
do you-
like,
yeah.
Okay.
You
I'm
pick
going
up.
to take a little peek here at what some of the last emojis were.
My
because-
favorite emoji is the one that's like the flat mouth and the eyes are flat too. Because
Yeah.
Yes.
that's my general
just the still
like.
face.
Yeah,
I love this one.
that's my favorite one. But I don't know if I use that with you. No emojis.
There's zero
emojis there.
There's not an
Zero.
emoji.
Wow.
Sometimes he sends me pictures of like random flower fields. That's
That's
cute.
true.
Though.
Look at them all.
That's so cute.
What do you hope your legacy would be? Each of you?
Oh man, that's the least fast
I know.
question
I know.
/ answer.
Right, which is why I teed it up.
I
and
like
just
it.
Let you know. Legacy's an interesting one for me.
It's easy.
All right, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just want people to remember you as someone that was happy and nice, funny.
Yeah.
That's good enough. I'm none of those things, am I? But
You got some
I am
work to
gonna
do.
work on it.
Oh, I mean, I, with the exception of obviously your legacy sort of lives in your kids, you know, the way that they live their lives and their position in the world. But it's very clear that, you know, they're not your actual legacy. They live their own life. I'd have to say, I really want to do something with my work whether it's writing or acting, or maybe both, that leaves behind like something that really is edifying and helps people. A story. I want to leave my own, mark on the world that way. Yeah. I got to get to work as well.
Mine, honestly, is the memory of who I was to the people around me, to my kids, to my grandkids, to my friends. To me, it's not at all the things that I did. Because I think that is sort of, nobody's going to care about this show and shit that I did in 50 years. But to know that my kids are sitting around talking about like, oh my God, he was so kind to everyone that was around. He really made a difference in people's lives. He really took the time. That to me, that is my legacy for myself. Like that takes importance over anything else.
You know what? After my dad passed, he always he was the kind of guy who would answer like I did. I want to leave something good behind. I want to do something that helps people. But he never really did. He always just was an incredible dad and an incredible husband and friend. And at his memorial, we didn't have a big one, but a lot of friends came through because it was right after COVID, and they all spoke of him that way. Like the way that he affected their lives and the way that he was in the world and what an inspiration that was. And I just was like, man, if he could have heard it.
That's the legacy.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have one. I haven't really thought about it much. I had a different experience with my dad when he passed. He, for all things, he didn't really have nice things said about him when he passed, right? There was no real funeral held because who was going to really turn up to it. It was very, very complicated and there was a lot of stuff going on. And I just remember thinking, I never want that to be me. Like I want to always leave a positive mark on anyone that meets me, and I want nice things to be said about me and someone to want to speak at my funeral and I do have desires to help people and help create change in some way. And I've so not even started my work on that. And I have no idea what my legacy will be other than I really want people to celebrate my life in some way, not even because of fame, but just my core people that know me and love me to somehow be celebrated in a positive way instead of people being like, well, karma's a bitch or whatever it is that, negative things that could be said. So I'm always wanting to just leave a positive imprint on people, sometimes to the point where it's too much people pleasing and too much self-sacrificing. So I have to find the balance of it.
Yeah.
That I haven't yet found a legacy.
One of my kids early on when we started dating said in reference to Sharna that she's the nicest person that they've ever met. And I was like,
what a compliment. Yeah.
That's really amazing because in having kids already and then getting back into dating, that's always like the big concern is like, oh, how are they going to feel about this person being around?
Yeah.
So to hear
a good
that,
feeling.
I was like, that is.
Kids don't lie too. Like they'll tell you. So it was very cool to hear that.
That's good.
You guys, it's been amazing having you here. I could honestly talk to you for hours. I have so many questions that I could get into and ask you, but I'm so grateful that you were here and you were just so open in yourselves and fun and honest. And it's been a really good time hanging out with you here on Oldish.
This has been so
I just can't wait for our first Argentine tango lesson because I think the four of us
It's going to be amazing.
We should.
I mean, this has been super fun.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for hanging out.
Now we have to officially start a commune, I guess.
Right.
Absolutely.
Hey, Hawaii, man. Let's really kick around that
Hawaii
idea.
or LA. I'm down. Let's start a commune.
Okay.
We'll have group Argentine Tango classes.
And steak.
Curtis will cook. And steak.
And steak.
Perfect.
Curtis will sit and go, what are you doing? Why are you cooking your steak? Oh, come on, man.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into Oldish or watching us, which you can also do over on YouTube. If you did like this episode, if you are a fan of the show, please go ahead, like and subscribe. It helps us so much more than you could possibly imagine. Helps us bring incredible guests to you like Curtis and Lindsay and all those that are to come. We love you guys. Thank you for the support. And until the next time, stay kind and stay curious.
I just wanted to take a moment to let you know that you don't have to navigate life alone. If there's something hard that you're dealing with or you're just ready for a change, then reach out to me at randyspelling.com, or you could DM me on Instagram, also at randyspelling. And if I can help you, I will. If there's a resource that I can share with you, I will also do that as well. Thanks.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains June 13th through the 23rd. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.